Welcome back for the afternoon session. Now Dr. Kunwar Singh sir is with us. I request Kunwar Singh sir to take over the session. Sir Kunwar Singh sir. Good afternoon sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, I upload my PPT.
Yeah.
It's not coming. What I have to share?
Sir?
Entire screen, huh? So,
Sir, click on this present now button, sir.
yeah, project now, then your entire screen,
And not required, you can select window.
Windows.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It will give you pop-up all the
Yeah,
applications you have opened.
yeah.
Yeah, it started presenting now, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
Okay, should we start?
Yes, sir, you can start, sir.
Okay, all the participants came. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll start now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So the last class we discussed about blockchain 1.0, where we have discussed the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So we have already discussed the how Bitcoin works, how decentralized cryptocurrency works. So where there is no trusted party. The Bitcoin is basically there is no trusted party like rupees. there is a trusted party, the government of India or RBI, all these things. But in the Bitcoin, there is no trusted party. You can send to transfer the Bitcoin from one node to another node. Just you need one internet system and internet. You can transfer immediately from one system to another system, and that also the cost, the transaction cost will be very negligible compared to the normal way. Okay, this already we have seen. So Bitcoin was invented by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. Okay, and his aim was not blockchain, but he invented basically Bitcoin, and then the Bitcoin he also invented blockchain technology. Okay, so after some times it was realized that this blockchain technology has many other applications. Okay, so not only in cryptocurrency, it has many other applications. And then around 2014, the Ethereum, this blockchain was invented. Okay, so this is a decentralized platform that runs smart contract application that run exactly as programmed without any possibility of downtime, censorship, fraud, or third-party interference. Okay, so the Ethereum is blockchain, and other than blockchain, it has one more attractive part was smart contract. Okay, and smart contract is a code, a small code which is inside the blockchain. These apps run on a custom-built blockchain and an enormous, powerful shared global infrastructure that can be moved value around and the ownership of the property. Okay, the project was August 2014. Around the world, it was developed by Ethereum Foundation, a Swiss no-profit allowed. Okay, so this is Ethereum was invented in August 2014, and it's for some other applications other than the cryptocurrency. Okay, okay. So as I told you, this is first blockchain 1.0 was the only cryptocurrency. Second blockchain 2.0 are the application of blockchain in another area, some other areas, other application of the blockchain. Okay, so the first blockchain was the Ethereum one, is most popular blockchain for developing, and it has developing the smart contract. Okay, so Ethereum can be public or private blockchain with the built-in Turing complete language to allow writing any smart contract. So public blockchain basically means where there is no constraint. Anyone can join, anyone can leave it. Private blockchain, you need there is a constraint to join the blockchain. Okay, and in this case, the smart contract can in this Ethereum blockchain, there is a Turing complete language like Solidity was used to write the smart contract. Okay, and then here you have Ethereum virtual machine that can execute the scripts using an international network of public nodes. And in this Ethereum blockchain, the Ether cryptocurrency was used. So Ether was similar to the Bitcoin. Okay, so now let's see this part. So we know the traditional contract. So the two parties or more parties, they want to have a contract. So what they will do, they will write the contract. Okay, and define the contract, whatever their agreement is there. Then it will be sent to the audit. So audit person will see it and it will audit the contract, and then this contract will be signed by all the parties, and then it is kept in a safe place, maybe under the government of India or district by state, something like that. Okay. Now the thing is, the one party, so once the contract is signed, everything is over. The one party later on, he may interpret some thing in a different way. Okay, and then what he'll do is he may go into that direction and make some action in that direction, follows one direction. Okay, so he interpret the contract in a certain way and progress in that direction, moves in that direction. Okay, let's say suppose the other party does not agree with the interpretation, with this interpretation. So what will happen? The while for the finally all the parties will go to the court. So court is basically trusted third party. Okay, so there is a trusted third party here, and the court will say that yeah, this action, this interpretation is correct, or you may say this interpretation is correct, and that action will be allowed. If you say that this interpretation is not correct, so then what you want to do? The action which he has taken, one party has taken, that will be reverted back. Okay. So in the what I'm saying is, in the traditional contract, there is a trusted third party. Okay. There are more than one interpretation. Contract is written. One party can interpret it in a certain way, another party can interpret it in a certain way later on, and then the actions may be reverted. Okay, so these things are there in the traditional contract, but in the smart contract is a code. Okay, it's a software program. So all the parties will agree on the software program, and they will get audited this program by some expert. Expert will say that yeah, this program is correct for your agreement, and then it will be kept into the blockchain. Okay, it will be kept in blockchain. After this, there is no trusted party like court. Okay, and once this is added into the blockchain, that is the final. Okay, so there is no trusted party. The execution, so execution cannot be done by the trusted party. The execution will be only one interpretation. Whatever is there in the contract, it will have only one interpretation, and it is not reversible. Once the code is executed, whatever the output comes, that all the parties they have to accept it. Okay, and autonomous. There is no third party. Okay, so this is the difference. Clear? So this is the difference between traditional smart contract and this smart contract, which is kept in the blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is already, I told you, is a safe, secure one, secure, or you can say secure box. Whatever you will keep into the inside the blockchain, that will nobody can tamper it. Tamper resistant link list. You can say a tamper resistant box. You can say. Okay, so this is a smart contract. Now formally I'll define smart contract. So smart contract idea was given by Nick Szabo in 1994. Okay, so the problem was he gave the example of like car. Okay, so the car is there. One can have the smart contract where the contract between without trusted party. There is no trusted party. The buyer and seller. Okay, so what will happen? The contract can be like this one. There will be a code. Code will say that if the buyer paid the EMI, it's okay. Okay. If buyer does not pay the EMI in 1 month, the next month, maybe after 30 days, and the next immediately the warning can be given. Okay. Now again, one more time, if he doesn't pay the EMI, then automatically the car will be locked. So there will be a code, and the code will give the output some signal which automatically lock the car. Okay, so this was the example he has given. Okay, so but the problem was this code, where to keep the code? There is no safe place to keep the code. Okay, so when blockchain was invented, immediately the people got the idea of smart contract. So now they got this smart contract can be kept inside this blockchain. Okay, so now what is a smart contract? A smart contract is an executable code that runs on the blockchain to facilitate, to execute, to enforce the agreement between untrusted parties without the involvement of trusted third party. That is called a smart contract. Okay, the smart contract can be called through transactions. So smart contract, anything which is kept inside the blockchain will be through transactions. Okay, the smart contracts are irreversible and immutable. As you are seeing, this is let's just say this is the blockchain. Okay, in one of the block, the smart contract will be there. Yeah, and this is the next block, which is mined by the miner. Okay, and in this code, this is the code here. It may take some this storage size space will be there, and then if you see the smart contract, the input can be data, this input output can be data, and input output can be money also, ether. It can be ether also. Okay, so this is the smart contract. You can see is inside the block. Clear? So this is the safe place. Okay. Okay. So smart contract programming. So Solidity is an object-oriented, high-level language for implementing the smart contract. Like C++, Java, Solidity also is object-oriented, high-level language. Okay. Turing complete. Whatever you can do with whatever any algorithm you can do it, same you can do using the Solidity language. So smart contracts are programs which govern the behavior of accounts. So you see the accounts within the Ethereum scripts. So account is basically addresses. As you have seen, in this case, addresses. Those are addresses. You will see. So Solidity is statistical type, inheritance, library, user complex, user defined types, among other features. So similar to other C++, it has other features also, inheritance, etc. Okay. Let's see one small smart contract program. Okay, so this is the program which increments and decrement. Okay, so and this is the thing. Okay. So you have private data type similar to C++. Here also you will have data types. So you have integer data type. The data type is similar to, you can say, C++. If you know the C++ or Java. Okay. So in your C, in C++, you have private data type, public data type, private functions, public functions. Similarly here also. Okay, these are the private data type. So private data type can be accessed by only the functions within the class or within the contract. Okay. Similarly here also. So these are the functions which is public. Okay. So public. Anyone who has access to smart contract of the blockchain, they can access this public functions. Okay, it can be private also. Okay, so simple. What it does is basically it increments the count and decrements the count. Okay, for example, you can say in some application you may need this contract. Okay, so you want to count the number of persons in particular hall. You want to fix it. So you want to count that one. So that can be done like this. So suppose somebody enters into the hall. So here he has to send a transaction or something. He has to click something which will send a transaction. That transaction will invoke this contract counter, and which will increment the count number. Similarly, when he leaves the hall, so that he will send a transaction, and that transaction will invoke the decrement counter. Okay, so finally it will give you the number of persons in that hall. So this is a simple one I did. Public function similar to C++, and in Java you have public functions, count, and public data type, all these things. Okay, so now let's see the little bit the Solidity. Okay, you see, first I wrote the directives. You have C++, you have directives. Similarly here also directive is there. Pragma Solidity for 0.4.19. Similarly here, so this directive that specify the compiler version to be used for current Solidity file. Okay, so there are a lot of upgradations going on very fast. Now maybe 5 point something is there. So still this was maybe 2 years back. So now maybe 5 point something is there. Okay. So the version number comprises of two numbers, major build and minor build number. So 5 and this is 19. 4 is 19. Now it is going on 5 point something. So this is quite old, maybe 1 year old. Okay. So then functions. Like class, you have functions. Similarly, functions in a contract. it. Okay, so you can in the contract some functions are there. You can execute the functions. If you have access to the function is public, you can call that function. Okay, and that will create a transactions. So basically, you are sending a transaction to invoke that function. Okay, so that will be similar to that. So anything you want to do inside the blockchain, you have to send a transaction. Okay. The visibility of function can be any of the formula like C++, Java, all these things. There will be same as I told you, public. The function can be accessed directly from outside, internal. It means that function can be used within the current contract and any other contract that inherits from it, because it is an inheritance property also. Okay, internal. Private, as I know, as you can already know, this can be used within the contract only. External, this function, this makes function access directly from externally, but not internally. Okay, so there are 4 types of functions, and by default function is public. If the name is nothing is written about the function, it will be default will be public function. Similarly for data type also you will have private, external, internal, everything, and by default it will be default variable will be internal. Yeah. Okay, so there is one more thing which that is mapping here. So mapping is a hash table or dictionary in other language, which stores some key and value. Maybe like in voting system, if you want to construct the smart contract for the voting system, maybe the candidate ID and its name, or candidate ID, number of votes he got it. Something like some mappings can be. Okay. Okay, so there is a constructor also. So in this, like class, you have constructor. Similarly, in this smart contract also, contract you can think of that smart contract you can think of a class similar to class. Okay, so there is also a constructor. Okay, so in other programming language, a constructor is executed whenever a new object instance is created. Whenever you create a new object instance, like class NIT is there. So NIT, and if you create an object, immediately these constructors are executed. Okay, here it is not like that one. Here is similar to here. Similarly here also. Here the thing is, however in Solidity, whenever the smart contract is deployed into the blockchain, okay, whenever you write the smart contract and you deploy it, kept into the blockchain, the constructor function is instantiated or called. That time this function will be called, executed. Okay, there can be at most one constructor. Okay, here in other languages you have more than one constructor. Here only more than one constructor, so you will have overloading also. Here only one constructor. Does not return any data explicitly. Okay, has the same name as contract. Okay. Even now, initially it was like that. Now they write constructor. Actually, constructor will be constructor. Can take parameters also. Okay, so now if you see, I use constructor here. So contract, this is a constructor. Okay, and this constructor, what you do is public. You can initialize the value. When this is deployed, immediately count will be 0. When the contract is deployed into the blockchain, count will become 0. So after that, you can increment or decrement. Okay, so this is the constructor. Okay, so mining. Okay, so mining. So already you have seen the mining. So mining is basically the process in which the miner one node will have the right to add the block into the blockchain. Okay, so people what will people will do? People will they send their transactions to all the nodes, and all these transactions will be in the transaction pool, and one person, one node, one special node which is called miner, one miner will track these transactions and add them into a candidate block. It will create a block, and what you'll do, you'll try to solve the puzzle. if you can solve the puzzle, then you will have the right to add the new block into the blockchain. Okay, and that node will be called miner, and in this case you will be rewarded 5 ether. Okay, in this Ethereum blockchain, it is using the same consensus algorithm, proof of work, as Bitcoin. The same as, only thing is you will be rewarded 5 ether. There it was 20. There it was 12.5 ether. Okay, other nodes will accept the block only if the transaction is valid. So all these things are there. Clear? Now the disadvantage of this consensus algorithm or proof of work is everybody is trying to solve this puzzle. Okay, so many supercomputers and many parallel computers, they are working on it. See, many companies are completely working on to solve this puzzle. In cold area of China and Europe, all the places, they are fully dedicated on these to solve these puzzles. Okay, so what happened? So many are solving, many are trying to solve. Only one will succeed. Okay, and he will have right to add that block into the blockchain. Okay, and so the blockchain duration is after every 10 minutes, roughly on average, after every 10 minutes, one block is added into the blockchain. Okay, so see, everybody is trying, one will succeed, but many are trying. So many will be using their systems, and they need electricity. So what some calculation is there, so they require huge amount of energy. But many systems are working, so supercomputers, all these things are working, so they need huge amount of energy, electricity. Okay, so one calculation is there, per year they need 54 terawatt, something like that. This much energy, this much electricity is required in 1 year for proof of work, for mining purpose. Okay, for proof of work, and this is algorithm proof of work. This much electricity required, which is electricity requirement of one country, New Zealand or Hungary, in 1 year. So this much electricity is used for this kind of purpose. That is the disadvantage of proof of work. So people are thinking to move on to use some other consensus algorithm, proof of stake. Okay, so clear? So these people are trying. So how it works? There is no electricity here, nothing is there, it's simple. So maybe Ethereum after some times it may use POS, proof of work stake, consensus algorithm. So how it works? Is attributing the mining power to the proportion of coins held by the miners. So many people are having the coins Ether. Okay, so the mining power is proportional to the coin held by the person. Okay, let's say, for example, let's say the Alice has 20% of total Ether coin. Okay, and Bob has 50% of total coins. So what will happen? Alice will be given, you can think it this way, Alice will be given 20% of total nodes, or not nodes, so you can say, okay, let's say Alice will be given 20% of total nodes. Okay, and Bob will be given 15% of the total nodes. Okay, and then what will happen? The one node is randomly chosen as a miner. Okay, so if you have 10% coin, then you will have 10% nodes will be you will have, and similarly other person will have 20%, 15%, but you will have 1%. Okay, so like this. So then out of these nodes, one node will be randomly chosen. That will be the mine. So obviously in this case, those who has more coin will have more probability to be chosen as a miner. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, so what is the assumption in this case is that majority of the wealth in the system is controlled by the honest participants. So assuming that those who have more coins, their chances of controlling the blockchain will be very high, because they are going to add the block into the blockchain. Okay, so assuming that majority will be honest. Same thing in Bitcoin also. It is assumed that majority of the people are honest. Okay, the rationale behind the POS is that users who have significant stakes in the system have an economic incentive in keeping the system running according to the protocol specification, as they risk that their stakes will become worthless if trust in the cryptocurrency vanishes. Okay, the thing is basically I have more ether. Okay, suppose something goes wrong with this cryptocurrency ether. So and the value of ether will go down. Who will lose? I will lose because I have more ether and the value of the ether has gone down. Okay, so what is assumed here is just assume that those have more ether, they will behave responsibly and they will be honest and they will follow the protocol for these blockchain. Okay, so that is the assumption. Okay, so there is a wallet. Already we have discussed the wallet. Similar to Bitcoin, also here also some wallet is there. So you have private key, public key, and hash of this one address. This is the address. Okay, this is the address, and that to spend this address, one has to produce signature corresponding to this address. So basically, signature requires private key. So one has to produce the signature corresponding to this private key. Okay, corresponding to this address. So address you can produce the signature if you know the corresponding private key. So wallet is nothing but a address and corresponding private key. If you have lost the private key, you have lost the money. Okay, so the money is like there is nothing like hard currency or something like some money is there, some other things are there. Only thing is you can get that money, you can spend that. Somebody has transferred the money in your account, or you can say address. Here in the ether they will say account. Okay, so address basically same. So address, somebody sends the money in your address. You can use that money if you know corresponding private key to that address. Okay, so if you know this one, then you can produce signature. So signature requires a private key. Yeah. So if you lost this one, you lost the money. Okay, so wallet is nothing but storing these addresses and corresponding private key. Yeah. Okay. So you have accounts and wallets. Okay. So till now we have seen only individual accounts. We have seen Bitcoin. We have addresses. I have address because in this in cryptocurrency, the transaction is what is the transaction there? You have only cryptocurrency. A is transferring money to the B. So A has account, or you can say here account means address basically. A has address, B has address. Okay, so one address is transferred into this one. So transaction only this way. But now we have more than cryptocurrency. You have blockchain. Okay, so you are doing voting. You are creating the voting using blockchain or some other applications. Okay, so you need not only individual account, individual addresses, you need some other accounts also. So for example, the accounts. Okay, so two types of accounts are there. Externally owned accounts. Like I am having my account. I am having an address. Account is basically address owned by the person. Okay. The contract accounts. The contracts also, they have also account, and it is owned by the code. Okay, the code will be there. That account will be is the owner of the account will be the person, so member will be there. Okay, so basically we have one account, contract account. Okay, and then this is the individual's account. Okay, okay, and through this way, and you have contract account, you can allow for interaction with the blockchain. Okay. So the contract has account, individual has an account. Okay. So wallets basically this one, externally owned accounts. Okay, that's wallets we have studied. So these wallets are, so obviously wallet is the account. It is used to store, transfer the cryptocurrency. Clear? Okay. there is one more in this case, gas and gas cost. Okay, so if you don't put this one, see, let's see, somebody keeps the program which works for, which run for infinitely. Okay, people may keep, see, people, the adversary may keep some smart contracts which will run for infinitely, or somebody can keep the flawed code, some wrong code, some attacking code, something. Okay, and their aim is to denial of service, or to create problems to other, or denial of service to others. Okay, so what to do for these kind of things? So because anyone can anyone can set the transactions. Okay, if somebody can keep some code which will run infinitely, so what will do, it will deny others to use it. Okay, or somebody can keep the flawed code. So to stop, to discourage these kind of things, they have given a system like that. If you want to send a transactions which has some steps, computational steps, okay, then you have to pay the gas. So we'll say you have to pay the money, you can say. You can think of this one. So you have to pay the money. Yeah, you can say you have to pay the gas. Okay, the person who is sending the transactions, he has to pay the gas according to the computational steps the transactions has. Okay, that he has to pay, so that the person will not send some programming code which will run for infinitely, because in that case he has to pay more. He has to pay infinite money. Okay, or he will not set arbitrary code because he has to pay the money. Okay, so he has to pay the money. Or you can think of this way. Now, what is the gas price? Current market price of unit of gas. So in this case, the cryptocurrency used in Ethereum is Ether. Okay, and this V is also it's the lowest money in this Ethereum. Okay, so you will see that one Ether is many V. So V is basically the lowest metric of this cryptocurrency. Okay, and the gas, one gas is how much V. It depends on the market price of Ether. Okay, when the market price of the Ether is very low, then this gas price also is low, maybe low. Okay, accordingly it will be low. The point, so we will see that this depends on the market price of the Ether. Okay, gas limit, the maximum amount of gas user is willing to limit. So suppose you want to you have transactions has some steps. So so already you may be knowing that these steps will take 20 gas. Okay, so what you have to do is you can keep it like 25. So more than 20. If you keep less than 20, then what will happen? It will not be sufficient to execute your steps, computational steps, and then when you lose this 20, whatever 15, let's say your transaction requires 20 gas. Okay, and you have given only 15 gas. What will happen? It will execute till 15. It will execute. After that, you don't have, there is no enough gas to execute these other instructions. So what will happen? It will throw the exception. Okay, so those things will be there. So exception will be there. When the sufficient gas is not there to execute the instruction, the exception will be thrown. So that is that. So it will be terminate, basically terminate, and whatever the money is there, whatever gas you have kept, that will go waste, and all the things, execution of the program will be reverted back. Okay. Gas cost is calculated by what total gas cost will be, gas you have used, and how much gas, one gas is how much we, that will be there. So this much gas cost, this much money you have to pay. Okay, so normal transactions, very minimum one is 21,000 gas. So smart contracts depend on the resources consumed, instruction executed, and storage used. Okay, so this is so more, if you have send the transactions, which requires more resources, computational power, then you have to pay the more gas. Okay. If your gas limit it has to be less than gas cost. Sorry, gas limit has to be more than gas cost. If your limit is which you are putting is less than the gas cost, then what will happen? In between, it will stop and exception will be thrown. Okay. This is you can say that these are winning units. These are units of the currency. So you see the lowest one is V. Okay, V. Then you have this one, then ether. One ether is this much V. This is the different. This is the okay. Okay. Here, as I told you, addresses. Okay, the addresses. You know that individuals have address, or you can say account here. Our smart contract also has an address. Okay, so smart contract, individuals, they have an address, unique address. Okay, the one smart contract will be known by one unique address. Okay, these addresses provide single property and 5 functions. Okay, what is the property? First property, it's possible to get balance in V. Okay, so just you put your address and dot balance, it will give you the balance in your address, the money, the ether in your address. So this is a single provides single immediate single property. This is the V. You can see this small contact address example. This is the address. Okay, and this address in this address dot balance, it will give you the balance in this address that is assigned to balance, and then it will return the balance. So if you execute this function, you will get the balance in that address. Okay. Now it has some 5 functions. We will see some 3 functions which is widely used, which will be used. The transfer. If you want to transfer ether from address 1, see, you can now, as I told you, the contracts, the addresses, the contract also has address. Okay, individuals also have address. So one can transfer the money, the ether from the individual address to contract, or individual to individual, or individual to contract, or contract to individual, or contract to contract. This way you can transfer the money. Okay, so first one, you can use this function to transfer the money also, that is transfer. Okay, so in this case, you can say you put the address where you want to transfer, and you write that one dot transfer, and write the money will be transferred to that contract or address which you are saying. Okay, now in this case, what is the condition here? If that by chance the transaction fails on the receiving side, by chance. So generally this is possible when the receiving side is contract, not the individual. If you are transferring to the individual and the individual address is correct, then definitely it will go to the individual. There will not be a problem. Okay. But if you are transferring to the contract and the contract address is correct also, even then also sometimes we see the money may not be transferred to that contract. That possibilities are there. Okay, even that address is correct. That's what we see later on. If the transaction fails on the receiving side, the exception is thrown to the sender and the payment is automatically reverted. Okay, when exception is thrown, the payments are reverted that you already knew. Although any spent gas is not refunded, whatever the gas is spent, that is not refunded to them. Okay, everything. And now you want to use this transfer function. So I want to send some money to some other address. So what I'll say, I'll create a transaction where I'll say transfer to this address. Okay. In that one, I have to give the cost to transfer for this function. So this functions, you want to execute this function, you have to give 2300 gas. Okay, so one gas may be some V. Okay, So 2,300 into some we, that much money we you have to give. That much will be spent. Clear? So this is the cost. So whatever you are doing, whatever transactions you are sending to the blockchain, it has some cost. It's not free. Then you can use send. Send is similar to transfer only. Only thing is here, when the fail on the receiving side, the value of false is returned to the sender. Here, if it is fails, exception is true. Okay. Here, false is returned. Difference is there to the sender, but the payment is not reverted. Payment is not reverted. Your payment is reverted. Okay. So it must be handled correctly and reverted with the further instruction. And this takes this much gas. Okay. So that you have to see. So it will not, if it's false, it will not, exception will not be thrown. So already you know exception in the language. Okay. So it will give you, it will return the true or false. Okay. So once you get the false accordingly, and the money will not be reverted. That accordingly one has to write the program. Third one is call. Call is also similar to we. Okay. So in this case, for target contract, you have to write the address and the function, which function you are transferring. Okay. Otherwise, individual, if you want to transfer, it is okay. Okay. That contact address, and it is same. If call fails, it returns the false, similar to sender. Okay. So you can set it to the contact. Okay. So the only thing, contact name and function will be returned. It's similar to send. Okay. So this code for transfer, send. Okay. As I told you, if you want to transfer in this address, you want to transfer money, add the address and transfer 10 Ether. In this address, you want to transfer money, but if it is not transferred, it will show the exception is thrown. You have no problem. So everything will be reverted. Okay. All the executions will be reverted. But here, as I send it, I told you, it does not. The funds are not reverted. Okay. So what it will do? It will send the false. So when this is false, when this is true, is false and not is true, then you can revert it. Okay. So if you want to say that if it is not, the money is not distributed by the receiver, you want to revert it. So then you have to do this way. If you don't write revert one like this way, if you write just destination address send, that the money will not be received by this one, and the actions will not be reverted. Okay. Similarly here also. Okay. Now the transactions. What are the different type of transactions? Okay. So the transactions are basically which modify the state of the blockchain. Anything which modifies the state of the blockchain is a transaction. Now, if you see in the Bitcoin, the transactions are basically transferring the money from one address to another address. Here you have one contract also. Not only individual, you have individuals and then contract. Okay. So the transactions are basically, it's not like between addresses. Okay. So we'll see what are the transactions. And the transactions are launched. Who can launch? The external EOI, individuals. They can launch the transaction, or contract. They can also launch the transactions. Okay. So what are the different types of transactions? First one, and it has 4 types. Individual to individual, you are transferring Ether. Individual to contract, you are transferring the Ether or data, whatever it is. This can be data also. Okay, some data will be. Contract account to contract account. This can be Ether, this can be data also. And contract account to individual. This can be Ether also, this can be contract. Okay, data also. So these are 4 different types of. First type has 4 different types. You can see amount, gas limit. Okay, so when you are transferring the Ether, if you are saying like send, then that gas you have to pay also. Okay, execute a function on deployed contract. Another transaction is, so if you want to deploy a contract into the blockchain, that you can do it through transactions. Okay, you send a transactions where the contract will be there. So in using the transaction, the contract will be deployed into the blockchain. Okay. Now, if you want to execute a function in a contract that changes the state is considered as transaction. That is also transaction. As I told you, the functions in the contract functions will be visible to you. You can execute the function, whatever the action, that will be in the form of transactions. Okay, and the mining, and then it will be kept into the blockchain. Okay. Deploy content on Ethereum contract. So this I already know. So execute a function on deployed content. This is the deploy a content on the Ethereum. Okay. These three types of transactions are there. Here, one is transferring between individual and contract or all these things. Second is the executing the function on deployed contract and deploy a contract on the Ethereum network. So there are three different types of transactions. Okay, so now let's see one simple wallet contract. So if you see this part, the contract, this is a smart contract for the wallet. So what is the wallet? You already know. From wallet, you can transfer the money, you can pay the money to another person, and wallet also can receive the money. That is the work of wallet. Similarly, this contract also can receive the money and or transfer the money to some other persons. Okay, so this is the contract wallet. You can see here, address is the owner. Okay, so now if you see that this is the mapping, public outflow. This address we have given this much money, and the wallet, function wallet. This is the constructor. Okay, so when this smart contract is deployed, immediately this constructor will be instantiated called. Okay, when this is called, what is saying that whoever has deployed this one, that is the owner. So who is the owner who has deployed the contract? Okay, this is saying that the person is the owner. So now, so this is the way one has to define the owner. Okay, and then now he wants to pay the money to some other person. This is the recipient. This is the function address amount and returns the true or false. Okay, message sender is not a owner and value is not equal to 0, then throw amount which is transferring has to be more than balance in this contract. Okay, if it is not balance, then it will return false. This is the outflow, the recipient, how much money you have transferred. And this is, as I told you, if this is not transferred, then it will not send the throw. It will not, exception will not be thrown here. You have to say, you have to write this code, not false, true. If this is not sent, receiver has not received the money, then you have to write this code, throw the exception. Okay, as it is true. So this is a simple contract to transfer the money from your wallet to other wallet. Yeah. This is the contract that rewards user who solves the computational puzzle. Whoever solves the computational puzzle, he will be rewarded some money. Okay, so this puzzle is there. Puzzle is saying that whoever solves the hash, whoever finds the nonce whose hash is less than the difference, less than some small value. Okay, difference. That's the puzzle. So you basically have to find the nonce such that its hash is less than the small value difference. This also already we have seen in the previous case. Okay. Now for that puzzle, somebody wants to write a contract. This is the contract code. Okay. This is the contract. You can see contract puzzle. These are the variables: owner, boolean log, reward is unsigned integer, this difference is some value, and solution will be some value. Some value. Okay. So these are variables. Now you have function. This is the constructor function puzzle. Okay. So once you deploy this contract, first is this will be executed. That's what I told you. Okay, the constructs are instantiated once the contracts are deployed into the blockchain. So first, the function which is called is executed is this one. So once you execute this one, the sender, whoever is deploying the contract, is the owner. Okay, this is the way the owner is assigned. Okay, whoever is sending the contract, that will be the owner, and he will be sending the reward money also. By the whoever will solve the puzzle, he will get this much reward, and he will put the variable logged as false starting, and the difference he will give some defined this small value. So he will define something. Okay. Now the functions. This is the main code. So people will send the solution. Okay. Now if the sender is owner, the owner can send. So why owner will send? He may update the reward. Okay. Maybe now he thinks that this puzzle first initially can say that whoever solves the puzzle, he will be rewarded $50. Now later on he realized that this puzzle is very tough. I should give more money, $100. Or maybe he can say that the puzzle is not easy. I should give less money. So he can update the reward. Okay. So this is the, if his owner is there, if log is true, already puzzle is solved. Log is not false, true. Then extra is true. Then it will be over. Otherwise, he sent the reward. Okay, he sent the reward, and the reward will be the message value. The reward will be the message value. The reward will change. Now, second thing is the people, the individuals will send the solution. Okay, that they will execute this function. So they will be here. If their message value is more than 0, submit a solution. If log is true, basically log is false now. Okay, so log will be true. If it is not visible here, log will be true when somebody has sent the solution. Then after that, no one can send it. Okay. So log till now, since no one has sent the solution, log is false. Okay, log is false. Now there is the value. This value he is sent that his hash is less than difference. So basically, his solution is correct. Okay, the solution is correct. The whoever sent the message, he will be sent the reward. Okay, and the solution will be the message data which he has sent, and the log will be true. So log true means after that other solutions will not be accepted because it will send the through. Yet this is the simple another example for smart contract. Okay, so one more example. Okay, so the contract election. So you can this smart contract also has the application to conduct the elections. Okay, so in the election you see some more than some candidate will be there, some candidates will be there. Okay, and you have to get their name and maybe some ID, all these things, and vote count, all these things. Okay, then maybe some ID. Okay, so something will be there. Then people will vote. Okay, so first the candidates' name will be collected and some other formality, and then people will vote. These two functions will be there mainly. Okay, so you have contract election. The first will be structure candidate, ID, his name, and number of votes he got it. Okay, and then mapping will be there, address and Boolean, public voter. So basically the public has unique address and whether he has voted or not. So if he has not voted, then he can vote it. Okay, that true false. Then this integer and candidate. So this basically mapping of the candidate's ID and his name. The candidate count and the voting number of votes the candidate got. These are functions. Okay. Yes, very good. Then you have function election public, and you have the functions are here. Now candidate 1, candidate 2, and then you have candidates will come. Candidates, you have to add them. So you have add candidate. So candidates will be added in this private function, which can be accessed by the functions of the contract only. Okay, these contacts it will add the candidates. Candidates will be added. So this is the formality now. So candidates are added. Now people will vote. So function vote, individual vote. So so I'll vote for the candidate. I'll send the transactions. I'm the sender, and which will execute this function. Okay. So I have the sender. Now first I have to check whether I have not voted or not. That has to be checked. Okay. So this already I have told you Boolean function is there. If I have not voted, if this is false, then I can vote it. Okay. And then my voting, whom I vote, whether the voting is correct or not. The candidates number are from 1 to 10. So the candidate ID has to be less than 10. So then whether my voting is correct or not, that has to be checked. And then once this is checked, yeah, I am eligible to vote. I have voted that correct person. Then what I will do is, after that, this will be true. Means I have voted, and then that voting will be counted on the candidates count. This will be counted. Okay, this is the way voting is given. Okay, so each individual will send the transactions, will execute this voting function, and this way their voted will be added into the candidates ID. Clear? So these are some smart contracts. So these are some examples I have given you. So any doubt till this point? Any doubt is there?
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Any doubt is there?
Yes, sir.
No doubt?
Sir,
Okay.
how much gas can be consumed to execute this program, sir?
Which program?
This smart contract program, sir. Gas can be consumed, no, sir?
Yeah. So see, if you have some transactions, okay.
Okay, sir.
So you have I told you have transaction. Let's say it has you want to transfer money to me. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll keep my address and you'll say send to this address this much money. Okay, so this takes, as I told you, 2,300 gas. Okay.
Okay.
And similarly, other functions, other instructions, other code, they take different gas. So those things already will be there. Okay. So those things already roughly people have already given that this much, this instruction you have to pay this much. Okay. So those things will be there. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
sir. Thank you, sir.
So my aim of this talk is to give DAO attack. In the smart contract, I have given some basic idea of smart contract. Now my aim was to discuss the one DAO attack. So in the smart contract, the major one attack was that DAO attack. Okay. So that DAO attack I want to discuss. Okay. So now onwards, everything is related to DAO attack. Okay. So we'll see one by one. So DAO attack is because of this fallback function. These fallback functions are not there in other languages. C++, nothing is there. Okay. So it is only in this smart contract, in this Solidity language, they have kept some kind of fallback function. Okay. So what is the fallback function? The fallback function is declared without any name. So only the function will be there. Doesn't have any name. Cannot have any argument. Cannot return anything. That is the fallback function. Okay. So now contract can have exactly one unnamed name is executed, and this function doesn't have any name. So definitely you cannot call it. You cannot call it. Then when this will be executed? Okay. When this will be executed? So it is executed on a call to the contract if none of the other functions match the given function identifier. Okay. So for example, you have called a function. So let's say XYZ, okay, of particular contract. What particular contract is there in the, let's say, voting system? There are so many functions are there, and you have called to execute one function of that contract. Okay, let's say XYZ function. Now that you have called. Now suppose XYZ function is not there in the contract. Then what will happen? Then this fallback function is executed. Clear? This will be executed. So only in that case this function is executed. Otherwise, obviously it doesn't have any name, so you cannot call that function. Okay, and clear? This is the case. In that case only it is executed. Now why people have kept the fallback function? What is the criteria? Why? What is the objective of keeping the fallback function? So let's say, see this one. Whenever the contract receives the money, Ether. Okay. So what will happen? I say send. So I say send to money to Ether. So if I give the money to individual, then it is okay. It will go to individual. So when I send in the money to Ether, sorry, one contract, I am sending the money. So what will happen? That I'll say send, and send function will not be there in the contract. So what will call it? Will call send is already built function. Okay. So already it is there. It is connected with the addresses. Okay. So send will be there. Send will not be there in that contract. So what will be executed? This fallback function will be executed. Okay. And this fallback functions will be named as a payable, and then the contract can receive the money. Okay. So a contract to receive the money, they must have payable fallback function. There should be one fallback function. You have to function unnamed function which should be payable. Okay, and inside nothing should be there. Okay, so if inside something is there, something is executed, then what will happen? I have sent only 2,300 gas, which is enough to execute send function. I say send to this contract, and when it is sent, it will go to fallback function. That is enough for this one. But if the contract inside the fallback function of the contract, some other things are there, then it requires more gas. Okay, so then this transfer may fail because I don't have. I am sending these transactions, so I have to pay the gas. I thought that only I will send the money to them, but inside the fallback function, if some other things are there, then which will take more gas. Then this transaction will not be successful. Clear? So in worst case, can only rely on this being available, leaving not much room to perform other operations except logging. Okay. So if you want to, if contract wants to receive the money without any error, without any exceptions are thrown, inside the fallback function, it should be empty, or except some basic logging, printf, received something. Okay, no instruction, no computational step should be there. Okay, because the sender is sending only this much money, which is sufficient for send or transfer function to be executed. Okay, you can keep inside the fallback function, you can keep some compliance operation also. That is not a problem. Okay, so you can keep it, but somebody is calling that function, then he has enough gas to execute those operations. Clear? Okay, so let's say this is the example. 2,300 units of gas only allowed to execute limited set of instructions. To send the ether, okay, if you want to send ether to me through transactions, so if you keep this much unit of gas, that will be enough to send the ether to me. But in that only that much. If you want extra calculations, then you have to pay extra things. Okay, so for example, like this one. this is your contract, and this contract wants to send money and to me. Okay, and this is my contract. Okay, this is my contract. So he wants to send money from C to D1. Okay, so he has given, he said this function has to be executed. So he has kept this much a unit of gas. So he knows that to send this much is required. The maximum this much is required. So this is sent to, let's say, D1. Okay, D1 it goes. It has to, for this fallback function, there is no name, only function is there. There is no name, there is no argument, and it has to be payable. Then only this contract can receive the money. If the contract wants to receive the money, there should be some this fallback function, and public should be payable. Okay. Now, what will happen? It comes together, it will be transferred, but inside this contract D1 has kept one operation. Okay, so he has called send this one, so the gas should be enough to execute this also. But the 23 is only to call this function, enough to call this function, not to execute any extra. So this will fail. So one cannot transfer money from C to D1. Fail with an out of gas exception. So gas is not enough. This money, this transfer transaction is failed. Okay. Now, second case, if he wants to send this money to this B, not D1, D2. Now, what will happen? It has also, this is the contract. It has function which has fallback function. There is no name, and it is payable also. Correct? Payable has to be there. This term has to be there, and then inside nothing is there. Okay, so nothing he has to execute. So this will be success because 2300 is enough to execute to call this function. To call this function, which will call this one. That is enough. Not extra things. This will succeed. Here. Okay, so if this you have understood, you can understand the DAO attack. Okay. Okay, clear? Any doubt at this point? If you have any doubt at this point, you can ask me. No doubt? Okay. DAO. Now come to the DAO. DAO, as you see, you can read it here, stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. There is no central authority, trusted authority. It is completely decentralized, created by the startup company Slock.it, German startup company. This was created by this one. It is a virtual venture capital fund that is governed by the investor of the DAO. Okay, it's crowdfunding company. Okay, so what is the idea is the investors, they can donate the money into this company. Okay, the money raised from the investor, the token holders are pooled, is collected, and these money, then these whatever the money this company collects, then these money can be used to fund their startups, the investors startups, or other startups of their choice. So there will be voting that which company the investors want to use, want to invest this money. Okay, so that will be okay. So this was launched in 2016. Okay, this crowdfunding company, and in very brief time, it was able to raise $150 million before being attacked. Okay, this much money they were able to raise. So this company was this much money within 2 months, within 1-2 months. This much money they got it, and they plan to invest this much money in some other startups, which will be decided by the investors, those who have donated the money. Okay, and in June 16, it was attacked and had a siphon of 1/3, around $60 million. So this is the major attack on Ethereum, and you can say smart contract. Okay, so this was because of there is a provision of fallback function. Because of that, this attack happened. Okay. Now, why this happened? Because of reentrancy attack. Reentrancy. What is reentrancy basically? The fallback function, because of fallback function, attacker was able to re-enter the caller function. Okay, so if you see here, the caller has sent the money, and if you see this part, this is the caller, he has sent the money. Because of a fallback function, this also will call this function. Okay, that's the meaning. So this, because of, you can keep some code here so that this will be called. Then again this will come here, this will be called. So re-entry. This is the caller, it went here, and because of fallback function, this again will be called. That is called re-entry. Because of this re-entry, this problem came. Now, what is the, you can see this small example you can see here. The contract, the Bob contract, set is false. This ping, this is someone function, and in this ping function, if you execute this ping function, the Bob has executing. Bob is sending to Ether. This call also is money sending to Ether to the C, contract C. Okay. Now C is, let's say this is the C, this contract memory. So he wants to send 2 Ether to this contract. Okay, so what will happen? As I told you, it will go here, and it has to have a one fallback function. This has to be payable. I have tried this mistake is there. It has to be payable, public payable. This has to be there payable. It has to be mistake is that it has to be payable. I have to write payable. Otherwise, it will not receive the money. It cannot receive the money. Okay, so this is there. And now suppose he keeps enough gas to execute this also. If he keeps only 2300 gas, then this will fail, because inside this one more statement is there that he cannot execute with 2300 gas. That is not enough. Okay, so but suppose he has, let's say suppose he has enough gas, what will happen? It will execute this contract, and then this, it will go inside this one, this will be executed. What is this one? Bob, this contract is calling this function for Bob and message sender, and then ping this. It is going this one. It is again calling this function. Bob ping this function by this his address and the same sender contact. So it is again going to this one. Okay, so again going to this function. Again, what will happen is this will, from here you went here, from here you went here, we didn't go here. So sent is false till now. Sent is till now false. So from here we went here. This is not over till now. This has to be executed. Okay, so sent is still false. Okay, so this again, once you come to inside this function, again it is calling this one. Bang. Address is C. Again C, same. This is false, this is true. Again it will transfer 2. Clear? Again it will come here. Send, we didn't go to here. Send becomes not true. If send becomes true, then it will not call this function. Again this, again this, again this. So all the money will be transferred to this account. So that is the DAO attack. So this is the basics of the DAO attack. Is clear? Okay. So if it is not clear, we have one more example. This is the DAO code. Okay, this is the DAO code. This is a simplified version. The DAO code may be big one, but this is a simplified version. This is the norm. So you can say this is the DAO code. Okay. So contract, simple DAO, and then mapping address to. So basically, this address has this much money. Okay, credit, this much money balance is there. This is the mapping. And now, if you want to donate the money, so you can donate. Call this function to donate this money. Okay, address it. And then in that, so you are donating the money. Your address will be there. So your address has donated this much money. Okay, so there, so in your some mapping will be there, where to say, and this your address has this much money. Suppose you have donated 10 ether. So initially it will be 0. So 10 ether will be added to in your account, in your credit. Okay. Then this another function, query credit. So if you call this function, you will know how much money is balanced in this address, in your address, or some other address. Okay, that you can know, query credit. Okay, so this is the function to donate the money to DAO. So people have donated the money by calling this one, and this is their account. This account, this much money is there. This account has donated this much money. Okay. Then they have kept one more provision that you can withdraw your money also. Suppose you have kept 10 ether. You can withdraw 5 ether. You can withdraw 10 ether also. Okay. This is the code. So there, in the DAO, there is a provision to withdraw also. So withdraw money. Okay. So if you have in your credit, if you have more than this amount, then you can withdraw. Okay. Obviously, you can't withdraw more than this one. So what you have code is a sender call that value amount. You write the amount. This money will be sent to his account, and then to send to that person, and in that person's credit, this amount will be subtracted. So if you want, you have already donated $10 ether, and now you want to withdraw 5 ether. So after that, in your account, 5 ether will be there, just like banking system. Okay, so you can withdraw, you can donate. Yeah. Okay. So now attack is there. Let's see that. Okay. So the adversary, what he did is he created a contract and deployed to the blockchain. This contract was created by the attacker. Okay. So attacker is Mallory. Contract Mallory here is deployed. So what is that? Simple DAO, public DAO. This he has created public. This one. Okay. This is public. You can say this. You can access this contract. Okay. Address owner. The owner is the whoever has created this Mallory. That this is the constructor. You know. So whoever created the deployed the contract, he will be the owner. And then now you see here. You see here. This fallback function. Okay, and this fallback function DAO.withdraw, and how much money? DAO query credit this. Whichever the money in your credit, that money he wants to withdraw. Okay, this code in the fallback function, they have kept this code. Okay, once you come to the fallback function, this will be executed. So what is this one? Whatever the credit is there in your account, that much money you withdraw from the DAO. Okay, and then you have this other function. Is clear? So fallback function is not empty. It should be empty. If you want to receive the money, it should be empty. But they have deliberately kept this one. To again withdraw this, again withdraw it. Okay. So now what happens if you want to withdraw? Your withdraw DAO withdraw function, and you have tried the amount, and you have tried the sender's name, and it will withdraw. It will go inside this one, it will withdraw, and it will update here. So now what is happening here? You see, after this function, this is the updation. So updation is after this one. Okay. So once you call this function, then this will call. You want to, okay, so this also, let's say what he has done, this he has created. Now how he has performed the attack? He deployed the contract, okay, as is shown here. Then he deliberately donated some ether for Mallory on this name, on this contract name. He has donated some ether to DAO, previous one. And what he has done? He has donated, the Mallory contract has donated 10 ether, let's say, into this account, into this contract, DOC contract. And then next step, what is it? Is withdrawing the money. Okay. Once you withdraw the money, let's say $10, 10 Ether is there, 10 he is withdrawing. So he'll withdraw this money, his address, amount is equal to Ether. The 10 is withdrawn, he has 10 only, 10 is withdrawn, and this is transfer money from DAO to Melory. This is called, but this is, it will not become zero. Why? Still this is called. This is not over. Once this part is over, then only this will be updated. That is the problem here. Okay. So this is called, and this is called, this sender is Melory's one. So Melory contract will be called and transferred to the Melory account. So the Melory account is here. It goes here. This fallback function will be called. Okay. And this inside the fallback function. So now what he is doing is, while he is calling this withdraw function, he is keeping enough gas. If he keeps only 2300, then this transfer will not be possible. So he keeps many gas, lakhs of gas. That cost will not be much. Okay, it will be less than the attack he is doing it. So he keeps lot of gas. Okay, for this transaction. For this transaction, to withdraw the money. Okay, to withdraw the money, to call this function, that will be the transaction. For the transaction, he is keeping a lot of gas, enough gas, so that he can execute this function many times. Call a function many times. Okay, this goes, and this, it comes here. Now it is not, this is not transfer the money. Money is transferred again. This is payable. Sorry, this will be payable. Function will be payable, and the money will transfer again. It is withdrawn this part. This is called, what is this one? The amount in your account, it is 10 Ether. It is not updated. It is 10 Ether, and again we are calling the withdraw function. So it will go here. The amount is same 10 or 10 only, but 10 you have already transferred. Okay, again it is calling this one. Again it will go there. Again it will withdraw. So like this one. So like this one, it will transfer many times till you have kept the gas or something else. Is clear? Because this is not updated. It's coming here, going there, and again coming here, going there, coming here, going there. So this is going on. So this is going on. Melory fallback function to withdraw. Withdraw to again Melory fallback function, withdraw. This is going on, and each withdraw 10 Ether, 10, 10, 10. So finally, this loop will be over till you have out of gas. So attacker has to keep enough gas. Stack limit is reached. There is a stack limit for each operation. Okay, so that is reached. It will be enough, and the balance of DAO becomes 0. Okay, so balance of DAO becomes 0. So this way they were able to siphon $60 million. $60 million. I just doing this one, calling this one, and this one, and this one, going from withdraw first, donated $10, withdraw, come here, go here, again this function will call again the same thing, this one, again come here, this is not updated, call this one, again come here, again go here, come here. So this way in each operation 10 Ether is transferred. So finally this will be over when all the money is over, or the Ether was and gas is out of the gas, stack will be organized. So this way they were able to make $60 million transfer. Okay, and this they would have transferred all the money. So in between the smart contract, they knew it, and then they returned some money because of forking, hard forking. Okay, this is called hard forking. Okay, so because of hard forking, they were able to unwield the theft. Otherwise, they would have transferred complete one. Okay, so this will see. Okay, so time is over now. So time is over. Hello, organizer. Hello. Hello. Time is over.
Sir,
Time is over.
sir, just a minute, sir, madam. Participants, if you want to ask any questions, you can unmute yourself. Any participants want to ask questions?
Sir, I have doubts, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, in smart contracts, infinity loops function may not be accepted, na, sir. But here is withdrawing many times. That means it is the recursive function. So recursive functions will be rejected in smart contracts, na, sir, in blockchain. So how
Yeah,
it possible, sir?
yeah. So and this is completely decentralized one. So nobody is stopping you to keep the infinite loop into the blockchain. You can keep it, but
Okay, okay.
you have to keep that much gas also.
Okay, that gas should be consumed. Okay, okay.
Suppose that so some loop is there infinitely, you need infinite gas that you can keep. Suppose something you keep keeping for loop, if you want to execute for 1000 times, deliberately you want to keep something for 1000
Okay.
times. So 1000 times gas you have to give. That much
Will be
gas quantity
consumed. Okay.
you have to keep there. Otherwise, after 1000 it will stop. So it will stop after 1000. Okay, so that then exception will be thrown. Then it will stop. Yeah? So you can keep blockchain as whatever you want. You can keep it. Nothing. Nobody will stop you because it
Okay.
will be. Only thing is whatever you want to do something operation, that much money you have to keep there. Okay, that's
Okay,
the
okay.
thing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, anyone?
Any participant want to talk to sir? No, we can close sir.
Madam Bandana Pawar, she wants to ask. Last time she asked.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
This time, okay? It is talk was okay or too much technical?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is
It
it
was
okay?
nice. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so is it proof of stake or stake? Yeah, this is proof of stake, POS. We have discussed the POS. Okay, proof of stake. Not stack, not that stack. Not that Q stack, that is stake, proof of stake. Fast one is two. Okay. Whoever have more stake, they will have more probability to add the block into the blockchain. Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Can
Okay.
yeah.
So this you can see, I have taken this from one paper, survey paper, which is smart contract attack. The survey on attack on smart contract. Okay. So DAO is the one of the, this is the major attack on the smart contract, and it is based on, just we have to understand fallback function and the recursive one, calling, but it's not updating.
Sir, your screen is not visible, sir. I think so.
Screen is not visible.
Not visible.
Video is coming here. Okay. Okay.
Still not yet visible.
You can hear me?
Yeah, it's hearing, sir. It's audible, but screen is not visible, I think, sir.
The screen is there, video is on. maybe some problem. Okay, anyway, class is over now.
Okay.
So this fallback functions you have to understand, and that is only. So those things are fallback functions you understand. So it is calling, going transferring money to here, and here transfer the money to receiver wants to money with the contract. A contract receiver, if receiver is the contract, and he has to have one fallback function. So that only he can receive the money. And in the fallback function, he keeps some code, which again calls the caller. That is the problem. Okay, that is the problem. Clear? I hope you have understood this call. This attack is okay. Okay, thank you very much for calling me. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Shobha Bindu Madam, I must thank you for accepting our request for being a part of this program. Thank you so much for sparing your time for the 2 sessions, which is much more informative session for the participants. Most of the participants are benefited out of it. We thank you very much so much, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Bye.